Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that China is just gone. No news, no warning, just empty cities where 1 billion people used to live. The ports, silent. The Great Wall, still there, but the tourists, gone. Even your phone, that shiny little rectangle you can't live without, suddenly refuses to turn on. Because guess what? That battery, that screen, that microchip, yeah, all made in China. Oh, sure, it's fine. It's not like 30% of the world's manufacturing or 18% of global GDP just vanished overnight. What's the worst that could happen, right? Back to reality. If China disappeared tomorrow, the ripple effect wouldn't just crash economies. It would reprogram modern life itself. From food and medicine to politics and power, everything we depend on would be thrown into freefall. So, let's play out the impossible. What would actually happen if China disappeared? It starts as just another Tuesday. Cargo ships approaching Shanghai suddenly lose radio contact. Pilots flying over East Asia report total blackout. No lights, no signals, nothing. At first, everyone assumes it's some kind of cyber attack. The US Pentagon calls an emergency meeting. Japan scrambles jets. Reddit explodes with threads titled "China just went dark" and "Is WW3 starting?" Within hours, satellites confirm what no one wants to believe. 1.4 billion people have vanished. Cities are intact, power plants are running, but there's no movement, no traffic, no broadcasts, no life. Phones around the world light up with push notifications. Markets panic, flights are diverted. And somewhere in Silicon Valley, a tech CEO is whispering, "Who's going to assemble our next batch of iPhones?" Breaking news, the global economy is about to go into cardiac arrest. But hey, on the bright side, shipping delays just got way more creative. Estimated delivery, never. By day 2, the disbelief turns into hysteria. Major news networks camp outside Chinese embassies around the world, all empty. Governments issue contradictory statements. Some claim it's a national emergency. Others whisper, "It's an act of God." And for the first time in modern history, the world goes quiet. Every supply line, trade route, and diplomatic channel connected to China is now a dead end. Factories in Vietnam stop production because they can't get components. Australian miners can't find buyers for their iron ore. And in California, a microchip plant halts work because the machines themselves came from Shenzhen. It's not an apocalypse in the traditional sense. There's no explosion, no war. Just the slow, eerie realization that our world was built on a single thread, and someone just cut it. And that's when the true collapse begins. Within 24 hours, every major stock exchange is in freefall: New York, London, Tokyo. It's like someone pulled the plug on the global economy. Because, technically, they did. The moment China disappears, 30% of the world's manufacturing and over a quarter of global trade vanishes with it. Shipping ports grind to a halt. Trucks line up outside factories that will never reopen. The world's assembly line, from cheap plastic toys to aerospace components, has just evaporated. By day 3, shelves start emptying. Not because there's no food, but because the boxes, labels, and even the machines that print the barcodes were made in China. Supermarkets look fine, until you realize half the products are missing barcodes and can't be scanned. And then there's the digital side. Apple stock plummets 60% in a day. Companies like Tesla and Samsung declare temporary shutdowns. And Amazon quietly adds a new message to every product listing: currently unavailable. We don't know when or if this item will be back in stock. Breaking news: capitalism has entered the chat and immediately disconnected. Turns out, when you outsource everything to one country, the global economy becomes one big group project. And the smartest kid just left the call. By week 1, the ripple effect reaches every corner of the planet. Africa loses its largest infrastructure partner. Europe scrambles to restart dormant factories. The US tries to ramp up domestic production, only to realize even the machines that build the machines came from China. Shipping containers pile up at ports like tombstones of globalization. Currencies swing violently. Inflation spikes overnight. And ordinary people, from warehouse workers to farmers, start asking the same question. How did we build an entire civilization on one country's output? The answer, of course, isn't pretty. And the collapse has only just begun. Technology doesn't just slow down after China disappears, it implodes. Because here's the thing, modern tech isn't global, it's Chinese. Almost every circuit, capacitor, and screen in your pocket passed through a Chinese factory at some point. And now, all of that is gone. By week 2, smartphones stop shipping. Every brand, Apple, Samsung, Google, Xiaomi, all of them built their supply chains through China's industrial web. Even if the designs are American or Korean, the factories, materials, and microchips aren't. So picture this. You drop your phone, the screen cracks, you go to get it fixed, and find out that every repair shop on Earth is out of parts. Tech companies panic. Silicon Valley holds emergency meetings with phrases like strategic pivot and relocalized supply chain. Translation? We're screwed. Laptops, routers, EV batteries, solar panels, all vanish from shelves within months. The digital world begins to stutter like an old VHS tape. Cloud servers go offline because replacement drives can't be sourced. Even satellites start losing communication because the control modules they rely on were built in Guangdong. In a single generation, we turned China into the motherboard of modern life, the invisible circuitry powering everything. And with that motherboard gone, civilization reboots into something unfamiliar, analog. Factories in the West try to restart production, but they're missing the tools, expertise, and scale. Even chip makers in Taiwan and South Korea struggle, because guess where their equipment came from? By the third week, the world's politicians are doing what they do best, pretending they know what's going on. Washington calls an emergency summit. Brussels issues 12 conflicting statements before lunch. And in Moscow, state TV insists Russia had nothing to do with it, which, historically, means they definitely did something. Rumors explode faster than markets crashed. One side claims aliens, another says divine punishment, and a UN spokesperson accidentally calls it a minor supply disruption, right before the live feed cuts out. The stock market isn't even the story anymore, it's power. With China gone, trade routes evaporate, treaties lose meaning, and the balance of the 21st century shatters overnight. The US tries to act calm, the "we've got this" kind of calm, while quietly activating half its naval fleet in the Pacific. India moves troops north, just in case the Himalayas start offering mysterious real estate opportunities. And Europe? They're too busy fighting over who gets to manufacture light bulbs again. Welcome to the first meeting of the Global Crisis Management Council, where every nation swears they're staying calm, while secretly typing "how to restart civilization" into Google. Oh wait, Google's down. Never mind. The irony is brutal. For decades, leaders lectured about independence, sovereignty, and self-reliance, all while letting one country build everything that kept their nations running. Now they're staring at each other like kids in a group project who just realized their smartest member disappeared again. Diplomats begin trading secrets for supplies, oil for medicine, grain for microchips scavenged from old electronics. Black markets turn into lifelines. And every government, democratic or not, rediscovers an ancient truth. When the supply chain breaks, ideology doesn't matter. In the vacuum China left behind, alliances crack, superpowers scramble. And the question isn't who rules the world now, it's whether the world can still be ruled at all. The collapse of the global economy is bad, but the collapse of the internet's attention span? Unprecedented. Within a month, social media becomes a digital wasteland. No new phones, no servers, no content pipeline. Your favorite influencer goes live for the last time, using a ring light duct taped to a candle. TikTok disappears overnight, literally. Servers gone. Billions of users forced to experience something terrifying. Silence. Wait, so you're telling me I have to experience reality raw? No filters? No trending audio? Oh God, is this analog TikTok? With China gone, the cultural arteries of the digital world dry up. No more K-pop collabs, no more endless scroll of knockoff gadgets, no new memes. Because the internet can't even agree on what day it is. YouTube grinds to a halt after running out of ad revenue. Netflix tries to produce retro content on physical film reels. And somewhere in Los Angeles, a TikToker starts a black market film studio, trading old SD cards like gold bars. Tourism collapses too. That influencer trip to Bali? Canceled. The new aesthetic is survival. People rediscover board games, handwritten letters, and the horrifying realization that their neighbors have personalities. Well, at least we've still got ramen. Oh wait, that was imported too. It's just boiled vibes now. It's not just pop culture that fades, it's momentum. The dopamine machine sputters. The algorithm that shaped modern identity, gone. People start making eye contact again, awkwardly. Some even go outside. When the noise stops, humanity finally hears itself think. And honestly, it's kind of unsettling. Then, for a moment, the world exhales. No cargo ships, no factories, no endless highways of delivery trucks. Just quiet. Within weeks, global carbon emissions drop by nearly a third. The sky clears over cities that haven't seen blue in decades. In Beijing, or what's left of it, you can finally see the stars. The Himalayas glow again. Fish return to rivers once choked with waste. Environmentalists cheer. The air is cleaner, the ocean's calmer, and every think piece on Earth starts with, maybe this was nature's way of resetting. And for a brief second, it almost feels like Earth is healing. Wow, look at that, we solved climate change. All it took was erasing the largest country in the world. Easy fix. Someone tell the UN I cracked it. But beneath the fresh air, another disaster quietly blooms. With China gone, the world loses its biggest producer of renewable energy tech. Solar panels, wind turbines, electric car batteries. Coal plants across the developing world start firing back up. Countries desperate for power dig into whatever they can find. The temporary calm turns out to be a mirage, a pause before the next wave of pollution from the chaos of desperation. As governments scramble to restart production, they burn more fuel, destroy more forests, and restart older plants just to stay afloat. Global emissions skyrocket past pre-collapse levels within a year. The irony is almost poetic. The world's cleanest moment came not from progress, but from losing the very system that made progress possible. So Plan A, we industrialize. The planet dies. Plan B, we stop industrializing. We die. Cool, 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 cool. For the first time in history, humanity realizes something terrifying. Maybe balance was never possible. Silence never lasts long. By month 3, the world's militaries have filled it with noise. Warships crowd the South China Sea, scanning for signals that never come. US drones fly endless circles over ghost cities. Russia calls it a sacred opportunity. India calls it a security concern. And Japan just calls it Tuesday. No one's invaded, not yet. But the tension feels like a match trembling above gasoline. Every nation bordering China sends in reconnaissance teams, and all of them come back with the same story. Nothing, no people, no bodies. Just silent highways stretching for miles, as if the entire population simply walked off screen. Breaking update, everyone's pretending they're just investigating, but half these troops are measuring property lines. Humanity's missing 1 billion people, and somehow we still found a way to make it about real estate. Satellite imagery becomes the new gold rush. Superpowers race to claim the empty industrial zones, the ports, the farmlands. But it's not just greed, It's fear. Because when one country that massive disappears, so does the illusion of control. The global power map starts redrawing itself overnight. The US deploys peacekeepers near Taiwan. Russia fortifies its borders. India, desperate to prevent a refugee crisis that never comes, builds new walls. And the rest of the world starts stockpiling food, oil, and rumors. Some whisper that China didn't vanish. It shifted. That maybe it exists somewhere else, out of sync, waiting. Others claim the void left behind is spreading, inch by inch, swallowing villages along the border. The truth doesn't matter anymore, because the fear is enough. Nothing says global unity like everyone simultaneously preparing for war against the empty space where a country used to be. To peace on earth, for now. And in that fragile silence between nations, the world holds its breath, not realizing that the real collapse has already happened. Months pass, the panic fades, but the quiet doesn't. The satellites still circle, the news anchors still talk, but there's nothing left to report. No new statements, no discoveries, no return, just a hole in the map where a civilization used to be. We used to call China the world's factory, but it was more than that. It was the nervous system of globalization, the invisible pulse connecting everything. And without it, the world isn't just broken, it's disoriented. In the beginning, everyone blamed someone else. Then, when that stopped working, they just stopped blaming, stopped producing, stopped pretending we were ever really in control. You ever notice how fragile everything looked in hindsight? We built an entire world like a house of glass, then got mad when it shattered. Maybe that's the lesson. We never really owned the future. We just borrowed it from whoever made it cheapest. Over time, the planet adapts, as it always does. New trade routes emerge. Old cities restart old factories. Children grow up hearing stories of a place that once built everything, then vanished without a trace. But for the first time in history, humanity starts asking itself something uncomfortable. If one nation's absence can undo the entire system, was it really a system worth keeping? Maybe that's the moral of this whole cosmic joke. The world didn't end when China disappeared. It just had to remember how to make things again. And maybe how to mean them. Anyway, she adds, smirking, if China's listening, you can come back now. We definitely learned our lesson. So, what did we learn? That the world's biggest country could vanish overnight and our biggest worry would still be shipping delays and screen time? Classic humanity. But maybe that's the silver lining. Every collapse starts as a reminder that we built a world too connected to fail and too fragile to last. And when it all comes crashing down, we'll probably try to live stream it. If you made it this far, congratulations, you officially survived the simulation. Now go ahead and like the video before the algorithm collapses too, and subscribe so you don't miss the next disaster we accidentally manifest. And if you want more existential dread disguised as travel content, check out our last video, What If All Air Travel Halted?, where we found out what happens when the sky itself shuts down. Spoiler, it wasn't great. This is Nova, signing off from the edge of what's left. See you in the next one, if there is a next one.